How are y'all doing today? This is Wrestle Riffs. My name is John, and we are going to take a look at some huge news that has come out on the WWE side today. As you're probably already aware, there have been many names that have departed the company, from Kairi Sane to Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston of the New Day to JC Mateo and Tonga Loa of the New Bloodline, or whatever Solo Sikoa's faction is called. Now, some of these names were not too surprising. Tonga Loa, obviously, just a walking, breathing, talking botch of a human being and professional wrestler. Hopefully he does well in whatever he decides to do with his life and or career. But the shocking names were definitely the New Day, Kairi Sane, and somewhat JC Mateo, just because he only recently signed a deal. Approximately a year ago he signed with WWE. And then, of course, you had Aleister Black leave. His wife Zelina Vega's gone. Now, I haven't seen anything official about Aleister Black in terms of the particular reason. Some are saying maybe creative disputes between himself and WWE, not feeling like he has a true direction. More than likely, what I assumed it came down to was Zelina Vega's contract is up. That's his wife. Black has been back in the company for about a year. And typically WWE doesn't sign people to 1-year deals. Usually it's 3 or 5-year deals with talent, especially those that are going to be appearing on the main roster, Raw or SmackDown. So it stands to reason Vega's leaving. Okay, Black has to be let go too. But then we start hearing about the New Day situation. When it was first reported that Woods and Kingston were out of WWE, they were leaving, it was first said to be a mutual agreement. That's interesting. Usually, if you work for a company, whether you're an employee or an independent contractor, it's usually not a mutual agreement to say, yeah, I'd rather not have a job. Yeah, I'd rather not get the money that I signed for. Something seems off. Usually, let's say the money was still on the table. They were going to pay them, and Woods and Kingston said, no, we're not being booked that well. We want to go somewhere else, whether it be AEW, Japan, whatever the case may be, so that way we can be truly utilized as talent. No, doesn't make any sense. Doesn't seem like those guys would do that. Lo and behold, we find out that TKO, under some financial edict, let's call it, is pressuring WWE to either let go of talent or restructure deals. You're going to hear that term a lot when it comes to these departures, restructuring of deals. Let me give you the layman's explanation for it. Restructuring of deals means WWE is coming to the talent and saying, we don't want to pay you for what you signed to get paid for. It's as simple as that. WWE wants to renege on how much they want to pay these stars. They are well within their legal right to do that per the contract. WWE can fire you at any time for any particular reason. The stars, who are not employees, they're independent contractors, which is a whole nother discussion that we don't have to delve into today, but that should be changed, hopefully over time, probably not anytime soon. The talent don't have a say in getting let go. They can ask, they can request, they can beg to be let go. And maybe, hasn't been confirmed, maybe in Aleister Black's case, that's what happened. But with the New Day, oh yeah, they just mutually agreed to part ways. Then we get a report about New Day's decision to leave WWE. This is from WrestleVotes. Yeah, absolutely, it's going on, and it will continue to go on, referring to the releases and restructuring of deals. They're going to approach every single person they feel like they can about taking less money. That's just the business we're in right now with TKO. Does that mean they're going to ask Roman Reigns to take a few $1 million less? No. But when you get down the roster and you see guys like New Day, JC Mateo, and people who fit that mold, people that are making a lot of money and not seen on TV too often, they're going to ask you to take less. Yes, that's true. So there is an initiative on TKO's part to try to get the revenue up to become more profitable. Here's another one per bodyslam.net. TKO is asking multiple talent to restructure their contracts, there it is again, as a result of what they view as the talent rate of production versus what they are being paid. TKO is looking to maximize revenue as the company is currently in debt due to endeavors past. So they want to get their numbers up, so to speak. They have a lot of debt on their hands, and they're trying to maximize revenue to get profit. UFC has less revenue than WWE, but WWE is less profitable. So that is what they are aiming to do. Meanwhile, those that are at the top of TKO, the executives from Ari Emanuel to Mark Shapiro to Andrew Schlemer and then to WWE President Nick Khan, they have seen increases in their 2024 to 2025 compensation. Ari Emanuel went from making $18 million to $67 million. Mark Shapiro went from making $32 million to $43 million. Nick Khan went from making $6 million to $24 million. Andrew Schlemer went from making $8 million to $23 million. While this is going on, while WWE is calling talent into the office and asking them to take a pay cut, WWE are reneging on the deals they got these talent to sign and say, will you take less money? And if they say no, they're gone. They're out the door. See you later. Well, we're not going to honor the contract. They're doing this for so many people. And talent are starting to get afraid. On the topic of the contract restructuring in WWE, Brian Alvarez said this on Wrestling Observer Radio. I've been told there were several people who were asked to take pay cuts, and they took them. I don't know how many. I don't know who. Obviously, the New Day was asked, and they did not want to renegotiate, and so they got their release. Apparently, there were some others who did end up renegotiating, and probably as time goes on, there will be more of these. In fact, there definitely will be. Dave Meltzer added, the reason you would be asked to renegotiate is because the contract you signed was when they perceived you as being far more valuable than they perceive you as being now. I know one guy in this situation. He could go to AEW, and he could make a lot of money in AEW, but he did take a pretty big pay cut to stay. The reason was not that he's not good or not that he's not great, but that they creatively didn't take advantage of what they had. But he accepted it. It's still a lot of money. And going back to the reason this is happening, Fightful Select said this. WWE was tasked with shedding millions in payroll over the last month or so, and the cuts were made in order to make that a reality. This was met with heavy criticism within the industry, as the pay packages for TKO executives were revealed at the same time as record-high stocks. And as you can imagine, this has talent upset, angry, and really concerned. Self-Made Pro said this. I spoke to a lot of people, many in WWE, and it's with no exaggeration when I say that the morale right now is really low. It's really tough because there's a widespread feeling of they're just going to get me next. There's a widespread feeling of like, if it's New Day, we're all going to get smoked at some point. There's very much a feeling that there's no security for anybody. And I spoke to 3 different wrestlers in WWE. 3 that contemplated whether or not they should simply request their release first before they get got. 3 in one weekend. He goes on to say that talent have a feeling of, we don't matter. Nothing we do matters. And when it comes to more departures coming up, because they're going to go down the line of people they feel they can push around and get to take less money, this is going to lead to more departures. There are going to be people that stand up and say, you know what, I can go across the street and get the money I have now, if not more, and I'm going to do just that. They're going to feel disrespected by this, but then there's going to be some people, maybe like a Seth Rollins, who sees WWE as the place that made him a millionaire, that made him who he is. And there's some merit to that. And there's also a reason why, when he felt like CM Punk called him a bootlicker, he took such great offense to it. If the shoe fits, Seth Rollins will end up taking a pay cut if he has to because he's already making a ton of money in his mind. He's made a ton of money. He wants to, out of loyalty to the WWE brand, his home, he wants to stay. Now, reportedly, there's nothing right now about Rollins in particular or any stars right now that's been revealed. Obviously, there have been talent that are talking to these people in the wrestling media about how they are scared, considering just asking for a release. They're contemplating just trying to get out of there before they get their deals slashed, before their money is just gone. And there's nothing they can do. There's no recourse to be had here. You could try to negotiate with them, but you have to take less money. Unless you are at the top, you might be able to stave that off. They might let you go with continuing to make the money you make if you are a CM Punk, a Cody Rhodes, a Roman Reigns. You sell a ton of merchandise. You are worth that money because you make the company so much more than what we give you for a salary. When it comes to more departures, Brian Alvarez added this on Wrestling Observer Radio. As a reporter, I can tell you that the New Day are gone, JC Mateo is gone, and Tonga Loa is gone. And I can tell you, as of Friday night, I was told that Tama Tonga was gone. But it turns out he wasn't released the next day. I don't know what that means. I can just tell you what I was told. As viewers of the SmackDown TV show, I'd be very worried about Tama Tonga, Axiom, Nathan Frazier, and Angel Garza, and Humberto Carrillo. We'll see what's going on, but I would not be surprised if there were more names to come. But don't be surprised at this point. Given what you know now, do not be shocked if you hear about other stars potentially just packing up and going home because they're insulted about being paid less, about WWE not honoring their deal. The names I'm thinking about, Asuka, B-Fab, I'm just going down the list on the WWE roster website right now. I could see Damian Priest being asked about restructuring his deal, JD McDonough, Johnny Gargano, Maxine Dupree, Michin, Natalya, Nia Jax, maybe even Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits, even though they just came back and it looks like they're trying to do something with them. Rey Fenix, Rusev, maybe even Sami Zayn. I definitely think they're going to ask Sheamus to take a cut. Solo Sikoa could be potentially asked. I don't know how Shinsuke Nakamura is still even with the company, but if he is still with the company, they're going to ask him to take a pay cut and hope that he says no and that he's gone. This is going to extend to so many different people. And that's just a few I've rattled off just by looking at WWE's roster on their website. That's not even really taking into account a lot of people on NXT, but they don't make nearly as much money as the main roster talent, of course. And before I go, I want to cover some things that are hot off the presses, if you will, some really new reports. A lot of these are coming in real time as I'm recording this. Fightful Select says, New Day, Santos Escobar, and others had just signed new deals with WWE in the last year, with some of them not even engaging All Elite Wrestling or other companies. Now, with WWE cutting them in their pay, it effectively reduces their leverage. A number of reps noted that it wasn't even smart from a competitive standpoint because you would think that WWE would want AEW to have to spend more money for talent. It was added that a number of wrestlers in recent years were approached during overseas dates about new deals, some way earlier than they anticipated being offered new deals. Some there saw this as an approach to get talent to sign before their reps could take a look at things, but that was more of an opinion than anything. If that's going on, that is shady and that is scummy, but that's just an opinion right now, though it would not surprise me, nor should it surprise you. Fightful Select continues, this round of cuts and pay cuts will likely cause heavy changes in how talent negotiate contracts with TKO and WWE moving forward. There is very little confidence that the life-changing big money deals that a lot of wrestlers sign will see through the life of the deals. So there you have it. WWE is backtracking on their contractual obligations to pay these people, and per the contract, because they stipulate all these things for it to be in their advantage and to keep the ball in their court, they can release you at any time, fire you at any time, and ask you to take a pay cut, and if you don't, they kick you to the curb. This is going to continue to happen. Expect more names to be let go from the company. Who do you think is going to be let go next? Who do you think WWE has their eye on and is thinking, you know what, we pay you too much money, you're not around that much, you're not moving merch. Who do you think is on that list? They're going to go down a long list of people, and probably even top guys, maybe even like a Drew McIntyre, like a Seth Rollins. And they're going to ask, would you be willing to take less? For the top guys that are selling a ton of merchandise, that are draws, that whenever they go to a venue, all their t-shirts sell out. Danhausen just got there, but he's safe. He's selling a ton of merchandise. Think about those guys, and let me know if I missed anyone that you think is on the chopping block. Thank you all for tuning in to Wrestle Riffs. There's going to be more content like this coming out. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Hit the notification bell, hit the like button, all the stuff all the people on YouTube already tell you to do. You know the drill. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought of this. If you have any questions, critiques, anything you want to share with me, I would love to hear from you. I'm hoping you stick with me on this journey because this is going to be a fun one. We've got a lot of stuff I can imagine coming up in the future that I'm going to cover, and it's going to be great. So be sure to stick around and subscribe. If you are not subscribed to the news channel I work on, Pro Wrestling Central, be sure to do that. We post daily news videos so you're constantly up to speed. If you want more in-depth analysis and thoughts and opinions from myself, subscribe here. There will be a ton of content coming out here. I hope we'll see how this goes. But once again, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.